The Black Ops sub-series is arguably the most popular in the Call of Duty franchise. I think it's definitely the most consistently good, but now that Black Ops 6 has been out for a month, I thought it was a solid time to update my ranking of the entire Black Ops franchise, meaning all 6 Black Ops games and World at War, since Treyarch has been officially referring to it as a Black Ops game over the last few months. And in case you saw my Black Ops game ranking a few months ago, stick around, because not only did I not include World at War in that ranking, but some of my opinions have changed since I've put some time into Black Ops 6. So welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, and welcome to my ranking of the entire Black Ops sub-series from worst to best. I'm going to do my best to take in all aspects of these games into account, meaning campaign, multiplayer, zombies, business model, DLC, everything. I want to judge the complete packages this time around. And just know that the worst game on the list is still a solid 8 out of 10. So this is a really tough list to put together, but you let me know your rankings down in the comments. As always, guys, drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours on this video. At number 7, dead last, is Black Ops 4. Now, before you dislike the video, let me remind you, I think this game is good. 8 out of 10. The game itself has a lot of great aspects to it, and I'm putting it at the bottom of the list because it's missing a few things that I really think make the Black Ops series special, namely the campaign. There's no real single-player campaign in the game. Sure, there's a specialist training mission videos, and those have some storytelling going on, but they're not very fun, and the stories aren't very memorable. The lack of campaign holds this game back from being the total package and getting a higher spot on the list. But with that being said, the aspects of the game that are in it are good. Zombies mode turned into a fan favorite because of the map design, the characters. The multiplayer turned into a fan favorite after a while because of the longer time to kill. The manual healing mechanics, they shook it up. And then there was the Blackout Battle Royale mode that a lot of people still argue is better than Warzone. Heck, if you boot up Black Ops 4 and queue for Blackout in the current year, you're probably not going to wait that long until you get a match because people are still playing it and keeping that community alive, at least to the best of their ability. Black Ops 4 definitely is not a flawless game, and there's certainly criticisms I can make of the multiplayer, the specialist balance, the toxic DLC guns like the VMP, but at the end of the day, it is a fun multiplayer experience. Has a fantastic zombies experience to boot. If this game had a great single-player campaign on top of all the content it has, probably would have been top 4 or 5. But when you compare it to the content of the other games, you just can't do it. I think it's fair to put it at the bottom. Again, it's still a good game. Don't hate me for it. At number 6, Black Ops Cold War. Might be a controversial pick because I know a lot of people love this game, but I think it deserves it. Let me plead my case. The campaign is really good, tells a great story, but it's definitely on the shorter side. In fact, I think it's one of the shortest COD campaigns of all time. There's a ton of great memorable moments through it. It's a worthy successor to the original Black Ops game story. As for the multiplayer, it launched bad, in a very rough state, with a ton of game-breaking bugs and a serious lack of content. But as time went on, Treyarch pushed out fixes, free content patches, so if you boot up Cold War's multiplayer right now, it's a very good experience. Heck, some people call Black Ops Cold War the best Call of Duty multiplayer of the entire post-Warzone era. Now, I don't fully agree with that sentiment, but I respect it. I respect where they're coming from. When it comes to zombies, Black Ops Cold War had a lot of new ideas, some of which weren't received very well. Others were excellent additions to the formula. So overall, Black Ops Cold War is a bit of a mixed bag. And a lot of that is simply due to the fact that it was developed in like 15 months or something ridiculous like that. I have no doubt in my mind that if Treyarch and Raven had been given a full development cycle to make the game, it would have been leagues better. But even through the development, and it was super troubled, and corners were cut, we still got a game. And we got a game that eventually over time has gotten better. At number 5, Black Ops 6. It's too early to judge where Black Ops 6 belongs on the overall ranking of the Black Ops series, but this is where I'm starting. I can't imagine it's going to end up ranking any lower than 5. It's loaded with content right now, and the game's only just came out, which is good. Content we got at launch day was mostly really good. I mean, the Black Ops 6 campaign is arguably the best since Black Ops 2. It's clear that Activision was serious about giving their COD teams more time to cook. The Black Ops 6 campaign is very long by Call of Duty standards and has extremely varied and diverse gameplay from mission to mission, which is exactly what you want in a COD game. I know the story isn't quite as tight as other Black Ops games, but in terms of gameplay, it's spot on. Zombies mode also been getting very positive reviews because it's the return of the round-based gameplay model and the inclusion of some innovations made by Black Ops Cold War and some brand new advancements in quality of life improvements that zombie players have been asking for since the beginning of the mode itself. You can finally save your progress and come back. Wow. Now, on the multiplayer side, I have to take the community's opinions into account because while I absolutely love the Black Ops 6 multiplayer experience, I know there's a lot of people who aren't feeling it, mainly because of the map design. Treyarch's maps have been criticized this year for being a bit too repetitive and open, leading to some frustrating matches that aren't really better for a slightly janky spawn system. But even if you're lukewarm on the multiplayer, you can't deny how solid the campaign and the zombies experiences are. I think Black Ops 6 deserves a spot in the top 5. Like I said a minute ago, if this is where we're starting, the game is probably going to get better with patches, and that's pretty exciting. It's going to be a good year for Call of Duty. At number 4, this was tough. Black Ops 3. It's kind of like Black Ops 6 in the sense that out of its 3 gameplay modes, one of them was rough, but the other 2 are almost universally seen as excellent. This time, it's the campaign that's the odd man out. Black Ops 3 campaign is straight up bad. No way around it. It sucked. It's not underwhelming or disappointing. It was bad. The story made no sense. The level design isn't interesting, and even though you have a giant selection of weapons and abilities, the game was not fun to grind. But on the other hand, the multiplayer in Zombies of Black Ops 3, incredible. Arguably some of the best in COD history. Black Ops 3's multiplayer is basically just Black Ops 2's multiplayer formula, but with jetpacks. You got the Pick 10 system, classic score streak system, an elaborate gun camo system. You got the maps that are designed to be this nice middle ground between fast-paced and slow-paced strategy. The specialists, they also help give some extra spice to the experience by not only giving you a big ultimate ability you charge up throughout the match, but also adding a ton of new cosmetics and challenges to grind through. And then there was Zombies mode, which was so popular and beloved by fans it actually got an expansion pack in the form of Zombies Chronicles, which is the only time in COD history that the Zombies mode has gotten its own paid DLC. Black Ops 3 is hands down the best COD game of the jetpack era, and I would honestly argue it's the 4th best game in the Black Ops timeline. The campaign sucked, and I think we'd all prefer just to forget it ever happened. Train go boom. Treyarch included. But the multiplayer in Zombies carried it to the number 4 spot. At number 3 today, World at War. This is where the Black Ops storyline officially started. If you go back and play it today, I think you will be shocked at how well it aged. World at War single-player campaign is dark, it's gritty, it's visceral, it's extremely memorable, does not shy away from the horrors of war, while also gives you iconic characters and set pieces that are going to stick with you long after you finished it. The multiplayer, stripped down compared to other CODs, but that fit the tone of the experience. You have to make do with what you've got. Use brute force to push back against an enemy team, while also taking advantage of power positions, hidden flanking routes, on some maps, freaking tanks. And then there was Zombies. It was simple compared to modern Zombies, but addicting. It was so easy to get sucked in the World at War Zombies maps because of the straightforward design and the iconic characters. Controls, a little janky, yes. Graphics obviously aren't the best in the franchise, but we're talking about the raw game design. World at War is a fantastic game all around. The campaign is one of the best in the series. The multiplayer has a special place in my heart, and the zombies are super addicting and laid the foundation for everything after. It may not have Black Ops in the title, but I think it's the 3rd best game in the Black Ops timeline. At number 2, Black Ops. Black Ops 1. It had so much character, and that's part of the reason it aged so well. The art style, the color scheme made every single scene absolutely pop off the screen. The game design, some of the best work Treyarch's ever done, if you ask me. Story features amazing set pieces, locations on top of mind-bending stories with iconic characters perfectly carried on from World at War. Now, World at War may have been a pretty grounded war story. Black Ops took those loose ends and went to wild places. And with it, they gave you some unforgettable moments and action scenes. The multiplayer features some of the best launch maps in COD history and a ton of banger DLC maps. My only real criticism of multiplayer in Black Ops 1 was the weapon balance. It was rough. Multiplayer was dominated by 4 to 5 guns, which I would honestly say about half the guns were just straight up unviable, but I still had fun with it. The game modes, the camo grinds, the maps, the unforgettable sound design. It is one of the most iconic COD multiplayers of all time for a reason. And then we went to Zombies. That's where Treyarch showed they were serious about making a name for themselves. They took the random bonus mode from World at War and turned it into this huge elaborate story in its own right with a ton of insane maps that perfectly walk the line between the classic straightforward style of World at War and the more confusing Easter egg driven style of later games. Black Ops 1, amazing game. My favorite Call of Duty of all time. But you already know, if you know me, I'm going to do this the right way. The number 1 best Black Ops game, it's not even a question. It's Black Ops 2. Had it all. As time goes on, more and more people take the opinion that this is the peak of Call of Duty as a whole, and I tend to agree, even if I admit I have more fond memories of Black Ops 1. Black Ops 2 innovated so many things in every aspect of Call of Duty. The campaign, the branching storylines, the side missions, the custom classes, all while telling one of the best stories in Call of Duty history with some of the most iconic characters in the amazing post-credit scene with Avenged Sevenfold putting on a concert alongside some of the campaign's main characters. How did they even come up with that? In the multiplayer, Black Ops 2 innovated things like score streaks, pick 10 system, wildcard system, modern gun camo system, modern player prestige system, the brand new weapon prestige system, which really needs to make a comeback. And it was the first Call of Duty game to have DLC guns. The Peacekeeper. On top of all that, had some of the best multiplayer maps in COD history on day one. Hijacked, Raid, Slum, Standoff, and then all the fan favorite DLC maps, Grind, Studio, Cove, Dig, I could go on. And then there were zombies. Got off to a rough start with the whole transit fiasco, but Treyarch worked overtime to win the community back, and by the time it was done, we had a ton of all-time greatest zombies maps, span the entire spectrum of gameplay styles. Black Ops 2 truly is the peak of Call of Duty for all players. S-tier campaign, S-tier zombies. Arguably the best COD multiplayer ever released. This is the peak of the Black Ops sub-series, and I really, really hope we get a remaster at some point in the future. There you have it, my friends. Let me know what we're ranking next, and I'll see you soon.